Greetings, viewers, and thanks for joining me out in the shop today. Can you tell what I'm going to do? Body work on the Tundra. I'm going to get started, show you how I do some body work my way, which is probably very similar to how other people do body work, yet wildly different from how other people do body work. It is going to be no rust and all metal. You can see this is part of the inner fender lip. That was pretty bad. There's another piece of it. This was the metal on the outside, pretty bad. I drew this white line out on here that took me to all good metal. Then I made my cardboard template. Then I transferred it onto this same piece of blue metal, which I understand I'm going to have to paint anyway. But that was a piece of metal I had, and I thought it'd be nifty to put it back on the Tundra since it came off. Now, for under the here and this, I'm going to just weld some pieces of metal to this lip and overlap it some. I know that's not right, but that's what I'm going to do all the way down here, and then that'll get me this part that comes down. Now I'll go over to the other side and make me a cardboard template of the wheel well opening because it's not rusted or ate up. And then I'll cut this excess off and put a bottom piece on it, pointing back. Everything will be body seam sealed when it's done. I'm going to get my welder out and set it up and grind a little bit more on this, and then go around and see if I can't get this wheel lip put back in. Now this opening right here exists on both sides and is a really poor idea. You can see that's two pieces in there. Well, where they overlap, they left this gap right here, and that lets crud and dirt and shit get in behind there. That I just didn't like when I saw that down at Toyota. So anyway, I'm going to set up my welder. I'm going to tack a few pieces in. I'll hit the high points as I go, and I'll show you the uneducated way to do body work. And yeah, have it all be metal and look better. Now, granted, I know this is not going to look beautiful, but the rest of the truck is not beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous, but you understand the paint's not perfect and the body has some ripples in it. It's 23 years, almost 24 years old now. So I'll get started on this, obviously, play ball with the dog, and hit the high points. Okay, now while it isn't always the easiest thing to tack with a flux core welder, I set my welder on heat number 1 and wire speed about 5 1/4. I clean my edges really good first. Woo, burnt through on that one, but it was really thin there anyway. I'll keep it going around here for a minute. Yeah, fluid film keeps catching on fire in there because I treated this so it wouldn't get worse. And see, I've got a little gap here and there. I got those two pieces together. I burn through on occasion. But if you do that, it's easy enough to fill them. Woo! Sometimes you even stack one on top of another to fill a gap like I did there. So I'm going to go on. I'm going to go over there and make my template, and then I'll just draw a line on this and cut it. Now I will tack some more, perhaps, but again I will seam seal all of this. I will make sure that it's strong enough I can beat on it with my hammer like it is now. And yeah, I know this ain't a body hammer, but it's a mason's hammer. Either way, I'm not one or the other, so I'm allowed to use that hammer. Again, I'll go through and put some more tacks in there, I'll make my template and then I'll catch you back up with how I'm going to make this look awesome. Alright, well I hope the light's good enough that you can see what I did. I went to the other side, I laid this across the trim. You see that piece of trim? Yeah, the body side molding, I laid it down. I used that to make my wheel arch template. Hey, you can still see. I compared it to fit this one as well because that was also on the arch molding. And I got my little red line here I need to trim by. So I'm going to cut that off here real quick. And then I can put my bottom piece on. Let me cut this off here. And I'm taking the whole line off since I traced under my piece. Ouch. Might have to touch that up with my flap wheel, but I can't. So now you can see I got my backer on there. I need to cut some thinner stuff for the flat. That's only going to be about a 1/2 inch or so wide. I'm going to cut a strip of that out of something I have here. Play ball with the dog and come right back and show you how I put the bottom piece on. All right, now I just have old scrap everything. I seem to always have something laying around that I can cut. Sorry for the sucky lighting, but I think you get the idea what I'm doing here. I'll trim all the little burrs and slag off of that, but I cut me a piece now that I can put in here for the bottom, and I just tack it up where it goes, and it's about 3/4 of an inch wide. I know I do everything on the floor right where I'm at and always have a big mess in front of me, but that's just kind of how it works best for me, be honest with you. So, welder still set on low, 1 and 5 1/4. I know everybody's welder doesn't have numbers. Mine goes 1 to 10. Does not go to 11 because it's flux core. Got me some new welding gloves. I earned them after that last welding job I did. Kept burning my finger because of the hole in my glove. So happy to have new gloves. I'm going to hook this on the back to get started. Mayhaps a little better. I want this to go in here. And I cut my piece, I hope long enough to come out here and catch this. There we go. All right. A few more of those. For best results with a flux core, ideally you should knock that little ball of slag off the end between every tack. Of course I don't do that, but I try to get them on there, enough of them fast enough that it stays hot. I don't know that that works either, but it does better that way. Okay, so enough of that. I'm gonna finish tacking this on. Yeah, it hangs out a little bit on the ends, but I'll bring this back out. I'll tap it around, beat it up a little bit, get it to do what I want it to do here, and I'll hit you back with the next part. All right, now if you're trying to do tacks with your flux core welder and you're getting all frustrated and disappointed, don't. Just keep practicing. Keep playing with your wire speed and your temperature. It took me forever to figure out how to do tacks with my flux core welder and not melt everything. If you do melt, you usually have a little piece of weld stuck on there. Try to bring another piece down to it from the other side of the hole or up from that piece and see what you can do. So now I'll grind this down here. A lot of the tacks are falling on the upside. Again, this will all be body seam sealed so it stays weatherproof. But yeah, the tacking with the flux core, I'm like on fire today. Usually even with messing with my welder and having done it so many times, I still have issues, but it's rocking out today. That little ball on the end I'm talking about that won't let you contact sometimes. I'll just melt it off on the side of the metal. Yeah. So anyway, now that's all tacked together real well. Hope you can see it. I'll go through and try to fill those in the few places it needs it, but that is plenty tacked in there for beating and massaging. And then before I put the other piece on, I'll go back through and try to fill in between them some. Hold on, I need a drink. Okay, that's better. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat. So now I'm going to cut this piece out and see what I can do to make it work. I need to bring some of this back a little bit. This has a nice bend right here to make like a nice rolled edge. I think I will really struggle to duplicate that. That might be where the Bondo comes in. We'll see. I got a buddy that's really good at body work. Maybe if I get it 90% of the way, he can help me make it look better. He doesn't know that yet. All right, so this is replaced now. That was metal that was rotted out and gone. This is replaced now. That was metal that was rotted out and gone. I know I'll have problems on the ends there. I'll try to tack that one. There I got a little bit of a gap. Yeah, trim hides a multitude of sins, and some Bondo could definitely make it look better. Again, not super concerned, but I just don't want a big ass rust hole there. I couldn't take it anymore. So I got started replacing it with part of itself. It's cannibalizing itself, but I like the way the wheelhouse turned out. I'll put my template back up there again and make sure it's good. I'm going to cut this piece out and start tacking it on, and then I'll at least have something going on. I'll throw some black paint on it until I can get to it again. All right, maybe you can see it a little better this way. Now I just cut out my piece. And I don't know about all of you, but I tried my template like 3 times and it was beautiful and perfect, and I laid it out and I cut it extra big and it's still too small. So I'm not going to cut it again. I will tack some pieces in. I really will do that. Now you can see here where I've got it nice and flush. Now again, like I said, I'll go over this stuff. I got a little gap over here, but I'm okay with that too. Oop. I can do little ones. Bigger gap up here, that's going to be tougher, but I'll get it. This here is like nice and flush though. Okay, there I burn a hole in it, but I was able to fill it. I like that there's a little space every here and there because it does make it easier to apply your weld. But too much space in too many places just makes it more time consuming for me. Yeah, that's what you got to do when you got a little gap. I put a little spot of weld on either side. I know you can't really see that. And then attach them together. Now, I'm just a hair off right here where it won't go. I did go along and put a few more tack welds in, but just a few more. So this is only missing it just a tiny bit right here in the middle. Actually just trying to shave that down, and I'll try to get in here with a pick and see if I can't pull that piece out just a little. I may have to give me a hole there or something because this one's fitting really well. Is that enough? Not enough. A little bit more. Okay. Maybe I get behind it since I still haven't done that on the bottom yet. Oh yeah, that's the ticket. Oh, that is beautiful. All right. All right, see, now I'll just have to go around and do that a whole bunch. Cut a couple of slivers to fill in that. I know that's my fault. Then I can try to work on bending this around. So I'm gonna tack that. And then when I get to the rest of this, try to bend it around and make it match up best I can. I'll tune you back in. But this is how I do body work. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Okay, now I'm getting this done, tacked around. I realize I've got, an issue with metal flow here. But what I wanted to show you was like where I had the big gap. And the big gap here, I just cut a piece of metal or find a piece that's cut, put it up there and tack it. Now I'll cut it right here with the end of the hole I need to fill and tap it in there. That just gives me a little filler to weld to. I left my bottom long because it needs to be curved. I'm going to try my hand at beating it with a hammer once I'm sure I've got this all tacked in real well. Don't know if I'll weld it on the backside yet or tap out and call for help, but we'll see. I think I'll probably just roll it and then tack it and then let Bondo do the wonders it does. So I'll tune you back in when I get a little bit more done. All right, so I got it all tacked. I just now see I missed a couple of spots. Still got to do a little bit more filling in the holes, but it looks good. I like it. It's not a high spot except right here, just a little bit where I put that filler piece in and I didn't push it down. I put a bunch of relief cuts in here. I may put some more because the smaller the piece, the easier they fold up. And then I'm just going to fold this up until it meets the bottom there and then see what it looks like. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so after cutting some slots in there, folding it up a little bit, it's a little ragged. Got to finish welding that. I'll put tacks on all these open spots, and then I'll go back here on the back side and beat them all flat, good and flat, and then I'll just tack them back here. Yeah, like I said, maybe the same way you do it, maybe wildly different from how you do it. I know it's not done yet, but yeah, I'm just happy that freaking rust hole's gone. So I will, do some more tacking, a little more hammering, maybe a little grinding, and I'll tune you back in for the finished result for today. All right, so I beat the edge around, I welded it on, I ground it down. Again, this is me totally amateur body working, this right in front of you. Yeah, there's still some pinholes. I'm gonna go back around and fill those. I've been filling them, trying to beat it into shape and make it look right. I might need to do a little more grinding right there, a couple more welds maybe. And then we'll put the Bondo on here next, so hang on. All right, so that's a nice thin spread. Little uneven perhaps. I didn't have a spreader, so I just cut a piece of plastic that was semi-rigid, mixed it up on some cardboard. Obviously no fancy body working tools going on here. I will try to sand that down into something that resembles what this should resemble, and throw some black paint on it in lieu of primer. I do need to go get some body seam seal so I can seal up the back of that real well in the wheel well. Not an emergency, but needs to be done before it rains too much. And I drive around anyway. I'm gonna go to have lunch and let that set up. I'll come back and I'll sand it down and show you how you can do body work without knowing how to do body work or having really any body work tools. I used a mason hammer, a ball peen, and a roofing hammer to get my edges and corners. I cut up old scrap metal that I cut off. Yeah, so nice to have crap laying around that you can use. As always, lunchtime. Well, all right, viewers, I need to go get some more hardener for my Bondo. I beat on it a little bit and made a dent right here. So that actually needs to be built up just a hair. It's not on there thick. I was a little low right here. I can grind this Bondo all out and try to use that little welder thing my buddy has and bring that out some if this bothers me. But it really doesn't bother me. It's a little off right there. This is actually shaping up okay for the bend here. I can form that a little better. All I have is this orbital sander and some 120 grit sandpaper. So that's what I've been using on it. Underneath it ain't as pretty. That sure beats the hell out of a big dent. And yeah, let me, excuse me, go get some more Bondo, or at least grind on this a little bit more. And yeah, call that done. So is it perfect? No. Is it way better than it was? Yes. Eventually I'll get it all painted blue. I'm just going to put some black paint over it for now so that it doesn't rust. I'm happy with it. Can you do body work? I can't. But I did that, and that ain't bad, and it sure did save a bunch of money, or infringing on a body. You know, hey man, fix my quarter. But I digress. I like it. I wish I had some more hardener here and could show you the finished part. I'm not going to show you any more of this, but Oswald and I appreciate you joining us out here for this little bit. Can you do body work? You sure can. Get you some metal. I mean, I made a heck of a mess, as I always do. I tend to work in my mess versus clean up sometimes. Sometimes I don't. But I couldn't be happier. I'm thrilled with how that's looking. And yeah, I'm sorry I had to go up here because of the dent, but I did, and I don't have the right body tools. So enough about that. I can do body work, you can do body work. That's what I say, because yeah, that's the only way you're going to find out what you can accomplish or can't accomplish. And yeah, what you need to do, because you just got to grab it, tear it apart, and start fixing it. That don't work for everybody, does it? But that is what works for me here in Funjunkie Garage. So enough babbling on, rambling about that. Like and subscribe and leave a comment and stuff, please. It's free, it's easy, it's painless, and it's free and easy. I'd appreciate it big time. It really helped me out. So, I wanted to give a little sight down it too. So, so you can see. That's not terrible. I'll turn the lights back on again. Yeah, see a little sight down it? That's not the worst it could possibly be for anything right there. I'm super happy. So, all right. Thanks again. Appreciate you joining me out here. Have a super great day.